Hiya. You didn't think I'd make one, did you? To be honest, I didn't think I'd make this myself. Due to the fact that I had upset stomach on Friday and I decided I'm going to skip SmackDown. I decided because I didn't see SmackDown, why not do a Collision episode? Now, admittedly, I still haven't seen SmackDown yet. I'm going to probably look at this on Sunday. I want to know what's going on because I think Jey Uso was on the episode. Don't tell me. If anybody's looking at this, if you mention what happened with Jey Uso, I'm going to get angry at you. Do not tell me what happened on the episode. I have not seen it yet. So don't tell me. I don't know what happened. So when I get a chance, I will look at SmackDown Sunday. But today I decided, well, my stomach was upset. I ate something I knew that might mess up my stomach, but I wasn't thinking about it. But I thought maybe I might be able to get away with it. No, there's certain things that really mess with my stomach. I have sensitive stomach, and it screwed me up all Monday. Had upset stomach. I'm fine now. This is what you get. Always when you know there's certain foods that mess with you, don't think every single time, it could work. I could probably get away with eating it because I know it tastes good, but certain things trigger upset stomach. And in this case it did, so don't do it. But what we got here? I don't even know what I'm going to name this episode of. Honestly, not much has changed from the last time I watched Collision. The major reason I stopped watching Collision was that Collision felt completely blank. It's not about the bad matches because they don't have bad matches. They usually have very good matches. Yes, they can go higher than 5 or 6. In this case, there were 7 matches. But due to the fact they do not have a split roster, that everyone that's on one show can appear in another, and they don't make it mean anything. I'm sorry, one of the major problems I had with Collision was that there's no champion on Collision. There's none. And that's the problem. If the TNT Championship was only defended on Collision and only would show up on pay-per-view, then I could say, okay, the TNT Champion is the one who's leading Collision. No. Even with Jack Perry being on Collision, it still didn't feel like the show had a lead. Understand something. Having now, you got Dynamite, you have Collision, you have Rampage, you have ROH, and now ROH is supposed to go on its own television show. I mean, it's going to be on some show somewhere where it shouldn't be. They're trying to do what TKO WWE is doing. You got 4 shows where legitimately it doesn't feel like I have a lead. Look, see how it is. Before I even get started with this, see how it is. When you look at Raw, you know who's the lead of Raw, Cody. You know who's the lead of SmackDown, Roman. It doesn't matter if the show is boring or not. You know who the leads are. You know who's on NXT. That is pretty much Trick Willie. I know from those 3, no matter if they're good or not, the show is going to mostly be focused around them. When it comes to Collision, when it comes to Rampage, I don't feel it. Hell, I don't even feel it with ROH. Since when I was watching it, I haven't watched in a while, I didn't feel like the champion of ROH was important because we would see him on Collision or we see him on Dynamite instead of seeing him on our pay-per-view. It felt empty. It felt like there was no one there. It's like an empty space. And now that I'm watching this, it still feels like an empty space. Now, mind you, are we getting tag teams on there? Yeah, I actually got to say that from what I could tell, compared to Dynamite, we got more tag team wrestling on Collision. Now, I'm not saying it's great amount, but it is something. Let's go to the first thing briefly, because I'm not even going to talk a lot about these matches. House of Black versus the Iron Savages. The only thing they tried to hype up was a 69 between 2 members of Iron Savages. And then after that, we get FTR coming out saying that we are the best tag team. We want to go past the best tag team. You guys are the best tag team. So we got to go for you first before we get our titles back. Now they want a match on Dynamite. I haven't seen FTR in a bit, other than when they were working with the Outrunners, which was cool. But now we're getting a match between them and the House of Black. and it feels empty. No hype for it. It's just a match saying they're going to go through them. Now, I know Private Party is the champions right now, and I'm glad to see them as champions. Finally, they got something, and finally, we do have more interest because it's Private Party. Now, admittedly, they should have been built better, but at least we have them. But still, I'm like, if you're going to make them mean something, I hope you make them mean something important by Full Gear. I'm just saying. Next match, we got Robert Strom versus Bistio, the former Black Taurus. Now, supposedly they know each other. The story is that Black Taurus was working with Undisputed Kingdom at one point, and pretty much Roderick really knows him very well, and he's trying to talk to him to get away from Roosh and his family. What they call it? I forgot the name of the team the team name that Roosh has. He's working with. Shocking. Jake the Snake is now working with them. Don't know why. That could have been brought up on Collision. Since I haven't watched it, I don't know. But it was an alright match. Of course, Robert Strong was in that storyline with MJF and Adam Cole. And I still believe this. Adam Cole will be going up against Roderick Strong before they go up against a MJF. I know it's going to be MJF, Robert Strong, and Adam Cole, but I think they're going to have a match. Or at least they're going to have some type of talk or some type of controversy where I have this strange feeling Robert Strom and Adam Cole are going to part ways, and Robert Strom, it might go with MJF. This is my thought. I might be wrong, and I probably am, but that's my thought. Next. Really didn't get much here. Do I hate Vox? No. What was her name? Ashley? Or I think her name is Ashley Vox. I don't remember her name. I don't remember her name. But Chris Statlander. What did we really get with Chris Statlander after she annihilated that girl? Not much, until Mercedes came out and made her tap out. Made her tap her ass out in the middle of the ring, flat out. Why? Guys, here's the problem. Do I believe that Chris Statlander is going to get tapped out at Full Gear if that's where the match is going? No. Because I just saw her tap out in the middle of the ring right now, even if it wasn't a match. I just don't feel like in this situation, this is right. Look, she should be still dealing with Camille. And then at the end of the year, she could be dealing with easily a Mercedes Moné. We got almost no real strong story between her and Camille. The story between her and Camille was so weak. And now she's jumped from Camille directly to Mercedes Moné. And I feel nothing. And here's the kicker for me. For me, this is me. What would have been the greatest story that AEW could have made by World's End? Now, mind you, maybe they will go there, but I don't see that happening. The greatest story for the women right now, for the TBS title, Mercedes Moné and Saraya. Saraya, remember, could not wrestle anymore after the last match in WWE. That was not intentional, of course. When she kicked her in the shoulder blades, that just showed what happened to her when she couldn't get off the damn mat. And instead of taking that story, a real-life story where Mercedes never wanted to hurt Saraya, and Saraya has no hatred towards Mercedes, as far as I know. There's been no reports of it. You could make a wonderful story. No. Nothing. And that's what's pissing me off. I'd rather see Mercedes have a story with Saraya with a real life reason that the last match Saraya had before she couldn't wrestle for 3 years, I think 3 or 5 years, it's been so long, was with Mercedes in a tag match. Why not make it mean something? No. Moving on. Alright, the open challenge. Action Andretti versus the Scapegoat. Did I believe Action was going to win? No. No. Not even close. Nothing. Seeing the Scapegoat basically win that match was not surprising. Seeing that Daniel Garcia came out, not surprised either, because they are having some type of story with him trying to do a rise. No problem. But seeing the way he was talking about, I'm never going to be like you, My guess is something that happened on Collision with him and the Scapegoat before. They had some type of conversation either in the back or in the ring talking about he's like him. And he said he's nothing like him. Daddy Magic, he's a dad to me. Private Party, they're best friends to me. I will always have them. I will always have their back. I will never be like you. And I'm going to take that title by Full Gear. And he says, all right, you want that match? You got it, but you're not ready. Walks away. I would tell you this. Am I interested in seeing Daniel Garcia in that match? Yes. Because finally, Daniel Garcia has developed enough that he could finally get that title and mean something with it. But do I believe they're going to let him have that title? That's the biggest question right now. Because right now, the question is going to be, are they finally ready to let Jack Perry drop that damn title, which he's done nothing with? I'm sorry. The storyline with the Bucks beforehand, when they were the bad guys, did not work. And now the Bucks are gone due to the fact they lost the Private Party. Supposedly they're home. And if they are going to be the saviors compared to... if they are really going there with the Bucks coming back to save AEW from Jon Moxley and the Death Riders, it's bullshit. It won't work and people will not totally like it. There got to be more. There's got to be more. But that's just me. Now, the match. I know I skipped it, but I did it on purpose. This is a qualifying match for Full Gear, a fatal 4-way. That is for the tag titles for Private Party. We get the Outrunners versus the Top Flight. Now, this is where it gets a little confusing when it comes to Top Flight. When you see Darius and Dante, they're in that match, and then they have some type of dissension between each other. You're going, okay, what are we exactly getting with Top Flight at that moment? The match was fine. I like the Outrunners. In fact, I like the Outrunners more than Top Flight at this point, because what has Top Flight really done with Action Andretti? They haven't had a good run at all. First, Darius gets hurt. Understandable. Then Dante gets hurt. That is understandable. They finally are able to get back together, but they didn't book them correctly. They didn't do anything with them. And finally, they stuck them all together with Leo Rush, who now is in a somewhat of a storyline with the Hurt Syndicate, where he's going to go up against Swerve next week. So when you look at Top Flight and Action Andretti, I see nothing with them. Not because I hate them, it's just they haven't booked them. So seeing there's a little dissension, I'm like, are they really going to do the dissension thing between brothers? I don't know. But it is the Outrunners who win. And I got to admit, I like the Outrunners. They are an old 80s throwback. I like the Outrunners. They're silly. And they're alright. There's nothing wrong with having an old style wrestling type of tag team like FTR. FTR is the serious 80s to 90s wrestlers. And the Outrunners are the goofy, nutty, ridiculous, over the top 80s to 90s wrestlers. That's what they are. We got two sets of them. It's fine. Now, let me give you this. When you look at Mariah May, did she do a good job with her segment? Yeah. I wasn't sure who's going to go up against her. Because right now, I don't see anybody. Mia Shirakawa? Maybe, I guess, because she's supposed to be coming back. Look, I think Mia Shirakawa, that's what she is. She's thickness. For a Japanese woman, she's like this. That's what she is. That's what she sells herself as. Since she was a former model, she has a lot of curves on her. She's not a small little woman like most Japanese women are like this, and maybe a little bit like this. No, the girl got titties and she got hips to a certain extent. She's a Japanese thickness. There's nothing wrong with that. And she played into it with her character. And on top of that, she can wrestle. And she can talk decently well. So she has a good package. But do I believe that she's the best person to go up against Mariah May? Yes, until we get Toni Storm back, counting if she's ever going to come back, which she should. I don't think she's ended a contract, so the big question is when? Is it World's End? Maybe it might be back at Full Gear. I don't know. Final match. We get... Oh, Do I really want to talk about Nick Wayne and AR Fox? Really? No. I think the match means nothing. I still don't know how far they're going to go with this patriarchy now that you have Kip Sabian there. Because the question is going to be, since I do believe Luchasaurus is injured. I could be wrong. You guys can tell me below. I do believe he might be injured. That's why he's not there. But when you see Kip taking that spot, and now you see Christian caring more about him than Nick Wayne because he thinks Nick Wayne is not getting anywhere, you wonder, what are they going to do with Nick? Once he reaches a point where it might be that he's going to leave the patriarchy with his mom, unless his mom's going to stay in the patriarchy, which I think she should. Because Nick doesn't need his mom to be able to really get over. Look, she becoming a good guy is not the best thing for her. She's more of a heater. She's a sexy woman. She got the curves. She doesn't need to talk. She just needs to be by someone's side. And I don't believe she needs to be with Nick because that feel would be awkward. Having your mom as your manager is not the right way to be. That's why I think she would stay with the patriarchy and Nick would go off on his own and Kip would take a spot. But that's if they're going to go there. I just don't know. Seeing him staple the picture of his family, and that's AR Fox, to his forehead, do I believe was necessary? No. But then if they're trying to make it all about patriarchy and that, seeing they're trying to say since AR Fox's dad is dead and Christian takes in people who has no more dada, I don't know if that will work with AR Fox. And seeing that happened, I don't know. Last match, Death Riders versus the Conglomeration. I had no reason to believe the Conglomeration was going to win other than getting the ass kicked. But I did think, what is Orange going to do? I didn't think it was going to come out. I won't lie about that. I didn't even think about him coming out. But I did think maybe something might happen that would be for Dynamite. But no, he comes out. He faces a Moxley who comes out near the end of the match. Eventually, the match happens. It ends. There's a fight. Orange faces, and, well, pretty much, of course, the Death Riders won. You know it did. They did. And then you see Orange get into the ring, nails a... Well, let me give it to you like this. I'm hoping Claudio Castagnoli did not break his shin, because he was limping at one point. And I'm sure that Wheeler Yuta's teeth are not broken. But I wonder how far they're going to go with Orange Cassidy in this storyline. And is it just Moxley? I'm saying this again. I'm going to say it again. It can't just be about Moxley. There must be someone else involved in this storyline with him, other than him and Maria Shafir. If she and he are the only things, and that briefcase does not have something special in it, like a contract or something, leading to someone coming into the company that you would not expect, or expect like a Shane McMahon, this is going to fall flat on his face. I'm sorry. I don't want it to, but at this point, they're rehashing the same thing that was from a storyline that should never happened. Let's make this very clear. What are we talking about here? We're talking about when CM Punk went on television and talked about what happened on the damn show and company, which pissed off the Bucks and Tony Khan enough to release footage of him getting in the face of Jack Perry, or maybe Jack Perry getting in the face of CM Punk. I can't remember at this point. I think it was, CM Punk got in the face of Jack Perry. They started shoving around. He tried to choke the shit out of him. And that is what sparked the badly booked Bucks being the EVPs, trying to make it all about that, trying to take Tony Khan out of the picture, which he did not, because they did not take Tony Khan out of the picture. He didn't even go away more than a few weeks. They nail him and then he comes back immediately, which was stupid. He should have never came back unless it was at the end of the year at World's End. They just let him come back quickly, or better yet, Tony booked himself to come back quickly, and then the storyline sucked until we get this Death Rider and Jon Moxley with Marina Shafir with the damn briefcase. Him winning the title, and now we got this situation where we do not know if it's only Jon Moxley. We keep wondering, is this just about Jon being a bad guy and the Bucks coming in to try and save AEW? If that's the deal, it's gonna suck. And it's not because Jon Moxley is not doing the best he can, or Maria Shafir, or Claudio Castagnoli, really, or even my boy Pac. This is about the bad booking. And honestly, I'm very concerned that if it's not like a Shane McMahon or somebody substantial enough, that if they're booked correctly, because this could be one person if it's not Shane McMahon, and that's Adam Copeland. I don't know if anybody else has thought about this, but maybe I might be the only one, but I'm not sure. I'm sure other people thought about it. If Adam Copeland is the one who basically is working with Moxley, that would be the only other way you can make it work, because I don't know what they can do with Adam Copeland anymore. He's been a good guy for quite a while, and it's time for him to turn to a heel. The only option would be for him to try and take over AEW. Do I believe it's going to work? I don't know. But since Adam has creative control over his character like Christian does, who knows? But this is just me. Peace. I hope you like this.